Hello, good evening. Welcome to the Michael Coren Show. It's a Thursday, and Thursday's federal politics. We have politicians. They mainly tell lies, so I have to try and keep them in order here. Let's introduce them. Akash Maharaj, he's president of the New Liberalism Foundation. Hello.
Hello, and font of all that's true.
Yes. Kevin Modeste, NDP, running in the near future?
No, not this time.
Away from anything? Richard Ciano, National Vice President, Conservative Party. Great to have you here, sir.
Thank you.
Steve Gilchrist, political commentator, former cabinet minister, running?
In all likelihood.
In all likelihood. Which party?
Well, that would be the Conservatives.
We have gun control in this country. Surely we don't need any more.
I do think that the gun registry that we currently have, as I've said before on this program and will say again now, is has represented a monumental waste of money. The amount of money that
more than $1 billion,
yes.
the Liberals wasted, threw away.
Although there were benefits that came out of that program, you could have used that money if that money had been deployed to something else.
It's amazing. Probably the first time I've ever agreed so strongly with Akash on the point that the gun registry was a complete waste, and it hasn't inoculated us or insulated us from the same type of incidents in the past. And as he said, it's an issue of insanity and criminality, and we're not. The gun registry is a tremendous waste of money, and that's not our approach to crime. It's to be able to give police the actual tools that do make a difference, and judges the tools to actually keep criminals behind bars.
What does that mean?
What does that mean? That means more police on the street. That means tougher sentences for violent crime. That's what's going to make Canada safer. Not stacks of paper on what kind of shotgun.
But who has put more police on the street?
Well, we certainly are trying to put more police on the street. It's been something that it's been a priority that we're trying to pursue to do that. So.
This subject was on the card. I wanted to talk about gun control in the light of what happened in Virginia, but we've gone on to judges and the Tories appointing judges. But what about the idea of having a police officer just as an advisory capacity?
I think it's important to have a perspective on those panels of people who are going to see the results of what those judges do on the bench when these people come back onto the street. Yeah. I think that's a principle that I support. I think it's a principle that the majority of Canadians support. That it's a good perspective to have police officers on that committee.
There's a way to achieve that.
Deal with those issues.
There's a way to achieve that without shifting the balance of power to politicians, and that is instead of adding one more person appointed by the government, you can add one more person appointed by the government,
politician and police officer are not synonymous.
You can add a second person chosen by a professional body or any body.
It is a basic democratic right to vote for the major parties, and to say to the people in one riding, no, the Liberals aren't running here. I don't know what Dion is playing at. It seems that every time he has the chance of making decision A or decision B, and B is the wrong one, he means B.
And the wrong one defined is the decision with which you disagree, I take it.
Well, no, I really couldn't care less between Liberals and Greens. I just don't understand why he would do this. He was going to win his own riding anyway. McKay's going to hold this riding that Elizabeth May's running in. The Green Party have given up a lot of their credibility to a serious party, and Dion has lost even more support. Do you support this decision not to run in was it Nova Central?
Central Nova.
I'm sorry. Sorry, the people who voted Liberal for years and years and would in the future in that part of Canada have been told you no longer have that democratic right.
You no longer have the option of voting for a Liberal candidate.
You can't be comfortable with that.
No, I think as a national party, I would have liked to have seen my party run a candidate in every riding.
And even beyond parties, the notion of democracy, that in every riding you should have the same right to vote for those parties that want to represent you nationally. If it was a small party, it wouldn't matter so much. But the Liberal Party wants to be in government. Well, if it's the governing party, people in every riding should have the right to vote for it or not vote for it. That would apply to the Conservatives and to the NDP, and certainly to the Conservative and Liberal.
Well, I think the one thing about this, the deal that's really astonishing is if Stéphane Dion's leadership isn't good enough for the people of Central Nova, what makes them think that it's going to be good enough for the people in the rest of Canada? It's amazing to me, and Akash has said where he is on this issue, but that the leader of the once proud and strong Liberal Party of Canada is reduced to the point of making backroom deals with fifth-place parties that don't have any seats in the House of Commons as part of some survival strategy or something that they're into. I mean, it is really a sign of how bad things are going.
I think it's quite clear
for Mr. Dion and his leadership.
Let's move on to the issue of Afghanistan. There are people changing their mind on this issue. My position, for what it's only me, but I was always absolutely against the Iraq war, but I thought Afghanistan was justified. I'm beginning to wonder now. More and more people saying, you know what, it's getting worse, it's an incredible mess, and nothing can be done. I don't know where the parties are anymore. I really don't know. I know the Conservative position. I'm not sure if they really believe it, though.
Look, it's interesting at this time when we're looking forward to the 25th anniversary of the Charter that we're having this conversation about Afghanistan. What are we doing in Afghanistan? We're fighting for the exact same principles that we have than we have in the Charter.
So we're fighting for something that has done so much damage to this country?
We're fighting for human rights and basic principles. True. But those are still principles that are enshrined in the Charter as well, and that's what we're doing in Afghanistan, and that's why we're there, and it's amazing.
Can we leave them the Diefenbaker Bill of Rights instead of the Trudeau Charter?
So it's amazing that there are people that would be balking at a mission.
The Taliban are about to employ harsher tactics, such as those used in Iraq, horrific beheadings and videos and so on.
Well,
it's going to get
that's
even
what
bloodier.
We're fighting. There's no question. That's what we're fighting in Afghanistan, and there's no question that Canada has done a great deal to make life better for the Afghan people, for women in Afghanistan, for children, and so on. And that's what we're fighting for there.
The Charter of Rights, 25 years old. I've only been here 21 years. I can only assume it was hell before my arrival. Hell before, 26 years ago, I assumed the police were just picking people up off the street and beating them to death. But, then it all changed. We had the Charter. Countries without charters change. We have legislation, we have judges, we have politics. That's what elections are for and democracy is for. But what the Charter has also done is to say to elected politicians, democratically elected, you don't matter anymore. The judges matter because they're in charge of the Charter. They tell you what to do.
Well, and I think, although I agree with what's been said, that certainly the rights in the Charter weren't by any stretch of the imagination new in the Canadian context, and just really codified in one place and put those down. I certainly don't agree necessarily with every decision that where judges have rested their decision on the Charter either. But it does provide a fundamental measure against the overstepping of government power, and I certainly support the Charter, and more importantly, the principles.
We inherited the separation of powers. It's a beautiful thing. It goes back a very long way.